I unfortunately need to deliver a dark, bad message to mortgage brokers and real estate agents. Unfortunately, I know you've been through 3 hard years. It has felt like a recession. It has probably felt like a depression. Many folks who were in the business a year ago, 2 years ago, have already left. My message for mortgage brokers, real estate agents, real estate brokers, appraisers, escrow is, unfortunately, you've got another hard year. 2025 will be hard. I really, unfortunately, think it will be the hardest, which is not giving me any warm and fuzzies. I will say that I believe in 26 and 27, things get better and get better meaningfully, but that probably doesn't make you feel any better today. We're going to have this conversation with Matt, the mortgage guy, somebody who's been on the show for at least 3 years, helping people get into their first home or their next investment. Matt, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great, Mike. And yeah, I've got a lot of thoughts on this. Yesterday at a real estate meeting, I was signed up to give a rate update. And after doing mortgage for over a decade, and having so many people so fixated on rate, I'll be honest, sometimes it's exhausting to continue to talk about mortgage rates up, down. And so while I gave them the update and I said, if you haven't noticed, it's gotten worse the first couple of days this week, because that was the truth. We had gone from 6.65 or something up to 6.82, and now sitting here talking Wednesday, we're up to 7, and we'll poke above 7% for 30-year fixed. But my message to the room was, we are the professionals, and if consumers can't look to us for a little bit of guidance and clarity, maybe some optimism, then who can they look to? And the example I used, I went to lunch on Monday with a buddy who's a financial advisor. And as you can imagine, with the market, the way it acted on Thursday and Friday, he got a couple phone calls over the weekend. Some were frantic, and people are freaking out. But his guidance that he got from other people in his space was, you're the professional. You remind people to zoom out. You remind people that the S&P is still up 80% over the last 5 years for anybody who's playing the long game. And that's what I tried to remind real estate professionals yesterday. The message to the average person that you're working with who's buying a primary residence, and the investors just as much so, zoom out. Like, long-term wealth building, and that's what real estate is for most people. The words long-term are in front of that, right? Like, it's a long play. And so I don't think there's much good that comes out of freaking out. And I'll be the first to admit, Mike, when rates go haywire like they've done the last couple of days, it makes me queasy, right? Because
I'm sure
the tough conversations that are coming, the one that just got into contract over the weekend, we're looking at a rate sheet that looks different. Their payment's going to be $80 more per month than what they looked at last week. But it doesn't do much good to sit in that for too long or to wallow in it. So I'm with you that things are going to be better over the next few years. But even while they suck, there's reason, if you want to continue to work in this field, where those of us that have done it for any length of time know it ain't for the faint-hearted. But you've got to be the lighthouse, right? You've got to be the person who, when you talk to a consumer, is not their crazy Uncle Johnny who says that the sky is falling and real estate's crashing. It's not stuff that they've read from doomers headlines about, this big market crash. It's a reasoned approach. As a professional, you probably are following stuff where you can point to data and truth. So yeah, I agree with you. things are likely not going to be, from a transaction perspective, very fruitful for people in 2025. But make the best of what you got and continue to educate and empower people, because real estate's still an amazing investment and will continue to be.
Yeah, I think you're going to have a decade of incremental growth, and you're going to obviously be starting that decade of growth in 2026 with a lot less competition. So again, it's about getting through this so you can end up at a buffet, a high quality Vegas buffet for a decade. So the juice is worth the squeeze. One of the reasons I think it is so hard for mortgage brokers is because you're frankly dealing with consumers. Now, what do I mean by that? We have now learned a couple of things and have direct evidence. 6.5 below brings buyers out of the network, right? Out of, they get interested. We just saw today Mortgage Business or MBA talk about applications being up 20% in total, 9% purchase, 37 for refis. So we now know with certainty 6.5 brings them out. But we also know after today's dramatic move, 7% makes them go back into hiding. Now, why is this hard for mortgage brokers? Because the consumer condition. We have now seen 2 or 3 times where rates get on a downtrend, like Wednesday, like Thursday, like Friday. And what does the consumer do for the weekend? Oh, this trend is going to continue, when they should have liked it and they should have locked it. You've been telling me now for 2 years, if you like it, lock it. And unfortunately, you're dealing with consumers who see a trend and don't realize that we've been here before, and we're one tweet away from, rates going crazy like they just did. So there were people that got into contract Friday that will have to cancel because they didn't lock it. They didn't make it certain. Folks, if you like it, lock it. And I can't scream that any longer.
Yeah. It's something that I even have to remind myself to do that. A funny recent plug. Good.
There you go. You're good.
Recent example for me was someone got in contract over the weekend. We're working to get fees from title Monday. We're working to get disclosures out, and I'm looking at pricing. It got a little bit worse. I'm talking to my colleagues, and I said, you know what? I'm gonna get a pricing exception for 25 basis points. Here's what I want to do. And I had a moment, Mike, where I said, I don't know, maybe we'll wait to see how it opens tomorrow. We won't have to give a pricing exception. And a colleague who's smart, thank you, Chad, said, Matt, there's no guarantees. It's opening up better tomorrow. Let's get it the F in and let's lock this afternoon. So we got it in, we locked it. I let the borrower know. Pricing got a little bit worse. We got a pricing exception to be able to give you what we were looking at, what we were aiming for. Nice. I think it was 6,125 on a VA loan, and off we go. And man, sleep a lot easier.
It would not be 6 1/8 this morning. That's
knowing I got that veteran in there at 6 1/8. So yeah, nice all is well, and it continues, like you said, to be the play. If you like it, lock it, and that's how most people should be treating it. I will tell you that I've had multiple different sources. I've got Barry Habib and Hammer Helmer and a bunch of different people where I like multiple opinions, so then I can use that to figure out what I'm going to do. That think that most of the rate pain is probably over, and I even got, I think they both are in a floating stance today. I shouldn't say that out loud because that will encourage gambling, but
yeah, if you like it, lock it. Did we not just say that? God damn it!
See, I need my friends to keep me in line. If not, I'll go back to my gambling ways.
Yeah. Then last thing we should talk about, again, higher rates, less. This is, you were at Deal Champs. Shout out Stratton, Dean, and Jason for that amazing event. And the opening presentation I was lucky enough to give, and I just hammered home that 2025 is the year of the investors. And people just still don't get it. It's really this simple. Do you want more or less competition? The answer is less. Do you want more supply or less supply? The answer is more. Do you want more or less motivated sellers? The answer is more. As real estate investors, unlike homeowners, we don't care what the cost of capital is. As long as it's the same for everyone or nearly the same, doesn't matter. Dude, frankly, Matt, I wish rates were 10%. You want to see supply and demand go crazy? Make it 10%. I'll go crazy because I'll write disrespectful offers. I'll write seller seconds. I'll get very creative. But year 2025 is shaping up to be the year of the investor. So what would I tell real estate agents and mortgage brokers? Do everything you can to farm real estate investors in your network. Ask them what their buy box are. Ask them who their preferred lenders are. Ask to compete for their business. Because real estate investors, if you find them in your market, I guarantee you, we will do multiple deals this year because the demand is cratering and we will be greedy. So that's my last piece of advice for brokers and agents.
Yeah, I'm seeing it happen in multiple areas. Florida and Texas are the ones that, everybody can see already, but it's going to happen in more areas where week on week stuff just starts to sit. And that's the thing about inventory is you can have the same number of homes coming on every week, but if less are selling or they're taking longer to sell, then all of a sudden that starts to build. And it's funny. I've seen it 1,000 different times, so it will be no surprise to me. But this big tick up in rates, it's not affecting the market right now or yesterday or tomorrow. 2 weeks from now, 4 weeks from now, you're going to have sellers going, what's going on? Exactly. Why isn't anyone offering on my house? And hopefully they got an agent who understands it and can explain it to them. Mr. and Mrs. Seller, just so you know, the cost to buy your house just went up $300 a month.
Yes.
And so if people were considering it and, their max budget was $4,000 a month, this home no longer fits in their budget. So X number of buyers just, that demand just disappeared from this specific house. And so, yeah, it'll be interesting to see. And to your point, investors, the best position in the world as an investor is to be the one person who submits an offer on a house. You are the queen of the dance. And they didn't like your offer when you presented it. You come back in 2 weeks and you're still the only person at the dance. No matter what you're wearing, they're going to want to dance.
That's right, folks. Money is made in the follow-up, especially in buyer's market. I do think the higher rates go, the more buyer's markets there are. Now, of course, this isn't 100% of the country. The Northeast is still very much a seller's market, but increasingly we are seeing buyer's markets, which means investors get greedy. Matt, if somebody wanted to reach out, what do they do?
Go to greatmortgagebroker.com, fill out the form. Talking to people every day from all over the country. And that's the first step, getting the financing in order, whether you're buying next week or next year, knowing that you're qualified, knowing what options you have. I talked to somebody earlier. We're going to put conventional investment stuff side by side with DSCR. We're going to find out what makes the most sense. Because again, I can't tell you without knowing your symptoms. You got to come into the doctor's office for me to be able to diagnose it and say, you know what, for you specifically, based on everything that you've got, your credit score, your down payment, your financial position, this is the loan that makes the most sense. And you want to know that stuff. Because then when an offer presents itself, you're ready. You've got a file that's complete and in with a lender, and you write an offer that says, I'm the only one at the dance. This is my number. I can close it in 20 days. Are we moving or not? That's how investors who get great deals move. It's not like, oh, yeah, let me check in on my financing, or, writing a longer contract that may or may not be as attractive to the seller. So be prepared so that when the opportunity comes, you're ready to strike.
You got it. GreatMortgageBroker.com. Get started. Thanks, buddy.
Yep. Thanks, Mike.